Good evening. Today is March 20th, 2023. I hope everybody is having a good day. Today, by the way, is the vernal equinox, the first day of spring. And I posted earlier, both on last year, I did one on YouTube and I reposted it on Facebook Live about Jesus and the vernal equinox. I hope you'll also check that out. I want to talk today about two days I remember very well. One was 50 years ago, the other was 30 years ago. March 20th, 1973, and March 20th, 1993. Let's begin with the older date of 73. It was the 79th day of the 1973 in the Gregorian calendar. It was on a Tuesday. And under the Julian calendar, this day is March 7th, a Tuesday. Both days of the week are the same, but there's a difference between these two calendars. The Julian calendar, of course, is the oldest. And by the way, the Eastern Orthodox churches follow the old Julian calendar, and that's why their celebrations of uh, events like Christmas and Advent and Lent and Easter sometimes are different than ours, not always. But it was on this day in 1973 that the NBC premiere of pilot episode of Police Story, based on the Los Angeles Police Department Joseph Wambo's writings, they made their premiere on TV. And it was the day that Roberto Clemente was inducted in the Baseball Hall of Fame. He had been killed just 11 weeks earlier in a plane crash, a great tragedy for this great athlete. The birthdays: Cedric Yarbrough, American actor; Christopher Hines, American businessman, son of Teresa Hines Carey, the wife of John Kerry, former U.S. Senator from Massachusetts and the 2004 Democratic presidential nominee. He later served as Secretary of State under President Obama. And Jane March, Edgware, England, an actress. Young Woo Sung, South Korean actor. Nico Bojo, South African cricketer. Norman Tome, an Australian soccer striker. I'm not familiar with these people personally. And people born on March 20th, 1973 are part of Generation X. According to the Chinese zodiac, the sign is Ox and the star sign is Pisces. I remember the day quite well. I was living in my hometown of Waco at the time. I was in my last semester of my senior year at Baylor University. I was working part-time for the Western Institute of Science and Technology at the Juvenile Center. During the day, I worked with the Juvenile Achievement School, and I believe it was on Monday nights I had a field placement in the Juvenile Detention Center in the same building. And that was certainly a very enjoyable semester. That was for a course I had in social work, skills in working with people. I also took Book of Revelation, a great course under Dr. Ray Summers. Right now I'm teaching Revelation on Wednesday night at Bethel AME Church in Corsicana, and we're doing it virtually through our free conference call. If anybody's interested, send me a message and I'll give you the conference call number. At 6 o'clock on Wednesday night, Dr. Ray Summers. Dr. Edward Dalglish I had for Hebrew, great Hebrew scholar. It was a hard course. Languages are not my forte. And the social work course I had under Charles Reese, who was a great guy. I had contact with him later. He was from Kearns, Texas, right up the road from where I live. Passed away several years ago. Karen Bell I had for anthropology theory, another interesting course. And then Dr. Charles Talbert had him for sociological theory. This wrapped up my undergraduate education, and I was to finish my degree on May 18th. 1973 was a very eventful year in the world and in my life. But how about March 20th? Well, March 20th was a special day. That Tuesday night, I went to Waco Lodge number 92. I had previously received my entered apprentice degree on August 21st. And then on December 19th, I'd received my fellowcraft degree, having made suitable proficiency in the work of the preceding degrees. And finally, by March, I'd completed the work on the proficiency on the the fellowcraft degree, and I received my Master Mason's degree. I was raised to the sublime degree of a Master Mason. The man who did the Worshipful Master's part was Bob Luttrell, really a great guy. Had not seen Bob in many years. I believe it was in 2014 that he passed away at the age of 80. He was in the pest control business. It was in the early 90s I ran into him in Waco. So I haven't, but I have fond memories of him and a lot of the other guys. It would be on April the 20th, 1 month later, that I took the oral exam and passed the proficiency in the Master Mason's degree, which enabled me in the fall to receive the Scottish Rite and Shrine. Well, Masonry has been an important part of my life for many years, right here. I don't know how well you can see it. But it was this year, on January the 20th, that I was given my 50-year pin in Waco Lodge number 92 by Robert Marshall, a good friend, current secretary of Waco 92, during the Masonic concert in Waco. My wife and my grandson, Richard, both attended that, and it was really a wonderful occasion. Okay, let's fast forward 20 years. 30 years ago, it was on the Saturday, March 20th of 1993, and says if you're born on this date, your life path number is 9, your zodiac sign planet Neptune, your birthstone is aquamarine. Anybody born will be 20. They'll be 30 today, and this is part of the millennial generation. It was a Saturday, and zodiac sign Pisces. 1993 was the year of the rooster, and so third Saturday of that year. What happened? Well, celebrities born. I'm seeing you listed here. It's surprising. World record Dan Jensen. The skate world recorded 536.2 seconds. I don't really know anything about skating, but I can tell you what was going on in the news. This is in 1973. I was living in Waco in 1993. Does that mean I stayed in Waco for that entire 20 years? No, it does not. In December 1974, I moved to Teague. In March of 1977, I moved to Dallas. In August of 1988, I moved to Kaufman. And in August of, let's see, August of, wait a minute, August of 1980 is when we moved to Kaufman. August of 88, we moved back to Waco. I was working on my PhD in world religions at Baylor University. I had gotten my master's in church and state in 1976. I did not attend school for 10 years, and then I returned to Baylor in 1986 to begin PhD studies. I graduated in 95. I had one uncle more than once. He said, "Bobby, you've been going to school all your life, haven't you?" I said, "Well, not quite." It depends on how you define being in school. It was during the time that I was not in school that a friend of mine made a very correct observation because I had read as many books and wrote as many papers while not in school as in school. He said, "Well, you hadn't got away from academics. You just hadn't been getting grades." That's a pretty good way to put it. And but I was teaching at Paul Quinn College that moved from Waco to Dallas in 1990, but I was living in Waco and commuting back and forth because I was um, in the PhD program at Baylor. The biggest news item in 1993 was the crisis at Mount Carmel. On February 28th, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms attacked the Branch Davidian compound, and there was the beginning of a 51-day standoff that ended in a fiery holocaust on April the 19th. I'll be doing a video about that later. But I have known about the Branch Davidians since the 1970s. They've been in Waco since the 30s, or the Davidians had. The Branch Davidians came out of the Davidians, but I'll get into that later. That was the biggest thing on the news, and I was monitoring it every day during that 51-day standoff with the local newspaper and other sources. Well, on March 20th, 1993, that was a Saturday, and I met a fellow at the luncheons of the Waco Ministerial Alliance named Larry Gwynn, super guy. I don't know where Larry is now. I'd like to see him again. He was pastor of the Waco Seventh-day Adventist Church. The Branch Davidians are a spinoff of the Seventh-day Adventist. They're very different, and for good reasons. The Adventists don't want to claim them. In fact, I heard Larry say that somebody from their national office in Washington, D.C. came to Waco to talk to him, to instruct him on how to deal with the media, because there were going to be a lot of questions from the media, and there was, about the relation of the Davidians to the Adventists. Well, anyway, I visited the Seventh-day Adventist Church a number of times, and Larry was there. I always felt welcome, always enjoyed it, even though I didn't agree and still don't agree with all the theology. That's neither here nor there. I treasure the friendships of many people who have different theological views than I do. We can agree to disagree on a lot of things and still be friends, and if they're Christians, they're my brothers in Christ, and we have this type of bond of unity that Jesus brings. But anyway, I attended the service that morning. That afternoon, I attended a open meeting of the Texas Lodge of Research. And that evening, I attended a meeting of East Side Lodge number 88, the Prince Hall Lodge in Waco that I was then a member of. It's since been merged with, I believe, Union Seal Lodge number 8, number 64. But so I attended three important events that day. And so it was the 20th anniversary of my raising as a Master Mason. I attended two important events, plus the service of the Seventh-day Adventist Church while maintaining a lot of interest in what was going on outside of Waco. Within a month, it would all come to a conclusion, and we live in the Lord say the same on April 19th and 20th. We'll have more to say about that. Everybody have a good evening. God bless.